Well, it wasn't pretty, but neither are we. The Minnesota Fighting Vikings outlast the crooked Chicago Bears 17-9 in a game that was so ugly that only a mother could love. It was chippy. It was mistakes filled by both sides. And it was just, frankly, the Bears outplayed the Vikings. They did. But the Bears, Vikings/Chargered it, and they shot themselves in the foot over and over and over. And now, obviously, you're happy to take an ugly win. It still counts the same in the win column. Vikings are 7-7, the best 500 team in NFL history. But this ish will not fly against the Rams. This will not fly against Green Bay. Hell, this won't even fly Week 18 against the Bears. So they got to get their house in order. There's still a lot of things to fix, but a win is a win is a win. And the Vikings are now 31% to make the playoffs per 538. Vikings are currently in the 7 seed in the NFC and will remain there if and when the Washington football team loses to the Eagles on Tuesday. Here are the winners and losers from the game that was man of the match. DJ Wanham. That's right, DJ. That's my DJ. So he got flacked with Jefferson and Daniil out as DJ Wanham is the best. No. He is developing. He is literally in year 2. He still is under 30 career games. He sniffed out the big screen and got a big sack on Justin Fields. That closing speed on that second sack, woo, heat-seeking missile, man. Plus, he was working Tevin Jenkins. Actually, I think Tevin Jenkins, the pride of Oklahoma State, the second-round pick, he took a swing at Sheldon Richardson. Well, after Sheldon jabbed him first, because I feel like he wanted to get out of the game because it's like, no mas for DJ. Also drew up a holding penalty against Jenkins too. But he has 5 sacks in the last 4 games, and I think the Vikings do really have something in number 98. Next up, winner number 2. It's kind of slim pickings the rest of the way, but Justin friggin' Jefferson, where it started out great. We thought this is going to be another big game. The Bears' entire starting secondary is out. He's going up against dudes who were at Butte Community College, but no, not so much. He had the touchdown, which is great, but then he drew triple coverage the rest of the day, including getting tripled on the ISM touchdown catch, but a big third down conversion late in the game, and that was really it. I mean, it was a very quiet pedestrian game from Justin Jefferson in the grand scheme of things, even though it started out gangbusters, but what can he do? He did pass Randy Moss for the record for most receiving yards by a player in his first 2 seasons, so for that, we thank you. Next up, winner number 3, Sheldon Richardson. Like we said, I mean, it's pretty thin. So he stripped David Montgomery. It should have been a fumble 6, but they ruled it dead, even though there was no one even within 5 yards of Sheldon. It's like, hey, here's how fast I ran after Bashaud Breeland after he was running his mouth. Also did a good job setting the edge. The Bears didn't get too much on the outside with Montgomery, and he did get some nice pressure on Fields as well. So another big game by Sheldon Richardson, who's really stepping up with the Vikings being shorthanded on the edge. Winner number 4, Harrison Smith, double deuces, 8 tackles, was used a lot in the slot, and also he was used as a feint. He lined up in the box. Everyone thought he was going to blitz, and they dropped into coverage. He was causing Fields problems, and that's what Harrison Smith does. That's the reason why he's a Pro Bowler. There's several other Vikings who should be Pro Bowlers, but, what can you do? Next up, winner number 5, Hold Me Closer, Cameron Dantzler. Got the start in place of Bashaud Breeland Johnson, who he gone. But Dantzler stripped Justin Fields and broke up the 4th and 4 play. 6 tackles as well. Very solid return to the lineup for the Needle, number 27. It's been a very up and down year 2 for him. But I think the Vikings, Breeland's already gone. Patrick Peterson wants to play for the Cowboys. Mac Alexander's been horrible this year. I do think that Dantzler, whoever's going to be in charge next year, is probably going to be a starting cornerback next season. Honorable mention winners, King Kene Nwangu, not a Pro Bowler, but had a couple nice kick returns, plus had a 19 and 11 yard run as a run back. He is going to be an RB1 very soon in this league. Vikings red zone defense. So they were garbage in between the 20s, but they put the clamps down. 0 for 5 in scoring. The Bears were in the red zone against the Vikings defense. Also, the defensive line as a whole, we already mentioned Sheldon and Wanham, but Pierce getting pressure, controlling the line of scrimmage. Diesel Dalvin blocked that field goal before the half. So the Vikings are getting healthy, and they're getting some chemistry up front on the defensive line. Good, like to see it. There's a reason why they lead the league in sacks. ISM touchdown. But like we said, Jefferson should get credit for drawing triple coverage. He just didn't drop it. I love it. Also, Patrick Peterson, 2 end zone passes broken up in the 4th quarter back-to-back. You like to see it. It's like, it broke up the pass to Jimmy Graham. It's like, who's older, me or you? Combined, we're like 90 years old, man. It's good. The losers. Losers. So the Bears had a high school secondary in there, and not even the varsity. We're talking about JV back there. And Zimmer demanded to run right at Akeem Hicks and Roquan Smith and Ogletree. I don't get it. I don't understand it, man. And Kirk Cousins and the offense was horrific besides the 2 touchdown drives. Even though that second touchdown drive, I mean, my God, I'm obviously a Vikings fan, but those penalties were, well, the Tease Tabor one was atrocious. The Travis Gibson one was on him. But other than that, they just dragged the Vikings' ass along like Weekend at Bernie's. But the rest of the game was just 3 and outs. It was horrible. I give him a pass on the interception because Justin Jefferson got tackled. But, I mean, 87 yards and 2 touchdowns and you win. I don't get it. I don't get it, but whatever. Zimmer, the offense. So there was a challenge that got overturned, and they couldn't get a snap off before the challenge. I mean, the spot on the Kirk Cousins 3rd down run, like you just couldn't get the snap off. That comes down to game management, man. They're taking their sweet time. It's sort of a questionable spot. Get up there and snap it. Run something. Don't care. Also, the block punt. It looked like it was on Miles Dorn, but we'll have to go back and take a look at the tape. But either way, not great. Chris Boyd recovered the muff punt. Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, no, Chris Boyd. Chris Boyd's in winners. Sorry, I mislabeled him. Chris Boyd recovered the muff punt. Also had some nice other nice punt coverage. He did a really nice job filling in for Dan Chisena. Refs, like we mentioned, even though the Vikings greatly benefited from some of the calls, that Tease Tabor call, tease nuts. Like I understand it's a rule put in place to protect offensive linemen, but he was going for the tackle, man. Like he wasn't going after Brian O'Neill's knees. He was going for the tackle. I mean, come on. Also, the Monday Night Football announcers, like the entire time they were gushing over Fields, they were gushing over Chicago. They were eating during the broadcast, which is completely unprofessional. Like I understand it's like shtick, but do it at halftime, man. Like you were doing it under 2 minutes and the Vikings had the ball. And you're just like, yeah, you got a big mouthful of Lou Malinati's and pizza. Just, come on, man. Like, it's bad chemistry in there. I don't like it. Steve Levy, he's whatever. Brian Greasy's not good. I mean, Louis Riddick, I have a lot of respect for. I actually think that he deserves to be in an NFL front office as opposed to being on TV, even though he's good at that too. But, I mean, did they say anything positive about the Vikings at all besides that Chuck Foreman bit? Oh, yeah, Chuck Foreman's really good. By the way, even though these Vikings are up 17-3 and they're going to win and move to 7-7, they're garbage. Also losers. So I think this might be the first time that Eric Kendricks has ever been in loser category, but really bad missed tackle early, and then that really terrible shot on Fields and got ejected. I think that was a correct call. It was just, I don't know. Like I understand the game was chippy, but you got to be above that, man. I mean, you're Eric Kendricks. You're a de facto team captain. You're the heartbeat of the defense. You can't come off the field. Also loser, Bashad Breeland. I don't know, just because. Also loser, Matt Nagy. Bye. Ryan Pace. Bye. Although as a Vikings fan, please stay forever. Also losers, the Pro Bowl voters. So no Kendricks, no O'Neal, no Kenny. Jakeem Grant got voted in as kick returner, and he is literally half the kick returner of Kenny Nwangu. He's more of a punt returner. But also, losers, overall, the offensive line was not great. Mason Cole had an extremely tough assignment against Akeem Hicks, but got his lunch handed to him. Plus, he's got Aaron Donald on Sunday, so fun. Christian Darrisaw got a false start and was just manhandled by Robert Quinn. I mean, what are you going to do there? Dalvin only averaged 3.3 yards per carry, so even though they wanted to run the ball, they couldn't really do it, even though they had freaking guys from the 7-Eleven playing cornerback, but whatever. And then also KJ Osborne let that punt sail over his head. It ended up being a 72-yard net punt. That's why he was benched thrice. And even though Dede will give you a heart attack sometimes, at least he gets under the ball. So what can you do there? But like we said, a win is a win is a win is a win. Vikings moved to 7-7, currently eighth in the playoff eighth seed in the playoff chase. They move into the playoff places if and when Washington loses against Philly tomorrow. So what can you do? Anyways, what are your thoughts? Who are your winners and losers? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, cash rules everything around me. Cream, put dinero in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.